We are at the magnificent Red Fort of Delhi. This Red Fort was the fortress and the palace of the Mughal emperors, started by the fifth Mughal emperor, Shah Jahan, and this magnificent construction, the so-called Indo-Islamic architecture, melding together the great architecture of the Indian civilization and the Islamic civilizations, especially Persia, is on display in front of us. The architects that designed the Red Fort in 1638 to 1647 are the same architects that designed the Taj Mahal. Now, we are at the center of one of the great empires of India's history. But India's history is so vast that to appreciate the role of India in world history is, of course, an endless adventure itself. I think the right place to start to understand India's unique and vast contributions to world history and to global civilization really starts with the formation of the Indian subcontinent itself. The Indian subcontinent, that great peninsular landmass into the Indian Ocean, actually was, in 55 million years ago, an island called insular India. It was its own separate landmass. And as plate tectonics took their course, that insular India smashed into the Eurasian landmass. And as it smashed into the Eurasian landmass, forming the Indian subcontinent, it also crumpled up all the land into the great Himalayan mountain range. So the Indian subcontinent that came from insular India 55 million years ago is bounded in the north by the highest mountain range in the world, the Himalayan mountain range. It's bounded on its west side by the Hindu Kush, the mountain range of modern-day Afghanistan. It's bounded on the east side in the northeast by the mountains in modern-day Myanmar. And this great landmass also forms the basin of a great civilization and a great part of humanity. South Asia today is constituted by modern-day Afghanistan, Pakistan, Nepal, and Bhutan in the Himalayan region, Bangladesh, India, of course, the most populous country, Sri Lanka, and the Maldives. If you add up the entire population of South Asia, it comes to 2 billion people of the world's 8 billion people, 1/4 of all humanity. And the history of that 1/4 of all humanity is amazing, diverse, foundational for global civilization, giving so many gifts to the whole world in science and mathematics and arts and philosophy and culture that it is impossible to summarize in any simple way. Of course, one of the key themes of history is that the Indian subcontinent has been connected to the greater forces of all of Eurasia through migrations, through conquests, through vast battles and movements of populations, and of course through trade through the oceans, linking the Indian subcontinent with Africa and with the Middle East and with East Asia. Well, the Mughal Empire, which established its capital first in Agra and then later in Delhi, emerged around 1526, the starting date. But that emergence of the Mughal Empire, of course, has its own long history. Mughal sounds like Mongol, which indeed is actually the case, because the Mughal Empire has its roots in the Mongol Empire. And that's not a bad place for us to start with the history of the Mughal Empire. The Mongolian Empire started several centuries earlier. It started, of course, with the great conqueror Genghis Khan, or Chinggis Khan. And Chinggis Khan began the conquest from the home of Mongolia throughout most of Eurasia to create the largest land-based empire in human history. And we now call it the Chinggisid Empire, after Chinggis Khan, or after Genghis Khan. And he established this vast united space through conquests that reached into China, that reached across Central Asia, that reached Southwest Asia to modern-day Iran, and that reached into Northwest Asia, into modern-day Russia. When Chinggis Khan died, his vast empire divided into four basic khanates, or four basic kingdoms that were kingdoms of his children and their successors. One of those khanates became the empire in China of Kublai Khan, called the Yuan dynasty. A second of the four became known to us as the Golden Horde, or the Mongolian Empire in what is today's Russia. The third of these empires was the Ilkhanate Empire, which is in modern-day Iran and Southwest Asia. And the fourth of these empires was in Central Asia, today's Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan, the Chagatai Khanate. So four great khanates, or empires, succeeded this one vast empire of the Mongols. Well, all of this meant an interconnection of Eurasia, not a conquest, by the way, of the Indian subcontinent, which had defeated attempts by the Mongols to invade in northern India. So India at that point was not part of this great Eurasian kingdom of the Mongols. But later empires arose following the Mongolian Empire, and one of those that was an enormous empire of great importance was founded by Timur, or known to those in the West as Tamerlane. Timur was a noble of the Chagatai Khanate region of Central Asia. He was born outside of Samarkand. He gained control of the Chagatai Khanate, and from there went on to make enormous conquests throughout especially Central Asia. Now, one of his great grandchildren, I believe it is, but it's a lineal descent also from the Central Asian region, was another noble of what is today's Uzbekistan, and that is a noble known to us as Babur. Babur became the founder of the Mughal Empire. Babur claimed descendants on his father's line from Timur, and on his mother's descent from Chinggis Khan, What we have was the claim of legitimacy of a new warrior king who would follow in the lines of Chinggis Khan and of Timur, or Tamerlane. Babur came and battled through the Hindu Kush, through Afghanistan and the Khyber Pass to enter into the northern plains of India, and he defeated the Sultan of Delhi and thereby established a new empire which became known as the Mughal Empire, and again as a cultural, historical, and genealogical descendant of the great Mongol Empire. The capital of the Mughals was first in Agra, nearby to Delhi, and then it was later moved to Delhi by Shah Jahan. So Babur was the founder of the Mughal Empire, followed by his son Humayun, followed by Akbar, known to us as Akbar the Great, who created a great amalgamation of Islam and Hindu religion and culture, and known to us throughout history for religious tolerance. His son was Jahangir, who ruled as the fourth Mughal emperor, and his son Shah Jahan is known to us most famously as the builder of the Taj Mahal and the builder of the Great Red Fort. This vast empire was an empire of enormous reach, reaching 20 to 25% of the world's population, of remarkable culture, melding cultures of Turkic civilizations, of the Persian civilizations, of Indian civilization and Hindu culture into a great amalgamation and a great reflection of India's remarkable and unique cultural diversity, which is one of the foundational truths of all of India's culture and of its history. This empire lasted from its founding in 1526 up until the 19th century, until 1857. But already by the 17th century, it was embattled by inevitably constant war and conquest by Hindu conquerors and kingdoms that fought against the Islamic influence. So battles of culture, of domination raged, and notably this fort fell from Mughal rule formally with the end of the Mughal Empire in 1857, already weakened and little more than a puppet empire of others, to the British Raj, when Britain, the British Empire, formally took control over most of South Asia. And it was after that, with the great battles for independence of India from British rule, led by Mahatma Gandhi and Jawaharlal Nehru and others of the Indian freedom fighters, that in 1947, on August 15th, at exactly this place, the Lahori Gate, the flag of independent India was raised by India's first Prime Minister of modern India, Jawaharlal Nehru, and India's independence was established at this famous site. It's absolutely a thrill to be here. We breathe India's history, its cultural and monumental greatness standing here at the Red Fort. But if you look at that India Gate, it looks a little familiar. It looks like the Arch of Constantine in Rome. After all, this is what we've seen, these iconic architectural designs that then become spread throughout the world. The Triumphal Arch. This is actually a memorial rather than a Roman triumph. It's a memorial to the enormous number of Indians who fought for the British cause in World War I and in the Anglo-Afghan War that followed soon after. It's a stunning fact that even as India was a colonized country, more than 1,500,000 Indians volunteered in the Great War to fight, and they fought in Europe, they fought in the Middle East, they fought heroically and bravely. It's estimated that of those 1.5 million volunteers, around 120,000 suffered death or wounds or missing in action. A remarkable contribution that was well recognized by the British, and which changed politics after all, because when you have that massive support in wartime, how can an imperial power continue to demand domination over people? And after World War I, the independence movement vastly accelerated. It was soon after World War I that Mahatma Gandhi began his brilliant leadership in independence, initiating his nonviolent movement, his Buy India movement, his resistance movement, and helping to lift the imagination, to emancipate the mind of the vast population of India, of what was then the British Raj, to demand the right of independence. It was not long after, in fact, this monument is to wars of 1914 to 1919, and less than 30 years after that, in 1947, India gained its independence. Now, Lutyens was a brilliant architect. He was the famed architect of Britain at the time. He was compared to the greatness of Christopher Wren, the architect of St. Paul's Cathedral, and he was given this remarkable commission to design a whole capital city. We'll see some of the famed buildings up ahead that he designed, which really are a distinctive architecture. We are on a path that goes from India Gate up to the President's house. That path, as it's called, is a story in and of itself, because under the British Raj it had a very straightforward name, the King's Path. After independence in 1947, it was given a new name, Raj Path, meaning the state path. So a kind of translation, but in independent India. And most recently, Prime Minister Modi has led to a renaming of the Raj Path. It is now the Kartavya Path, taking a Sanskrit word, Kartavya, meaning duty, duty to the state, duty to others in society, as an enhanced meaning of what responsibility of citizenship means. So even the name of this famed way that Edwin Lutyens designed is instructive about the politics of change of the last century.